It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler.
Hey guys, Tyler here. For this video, I'm gonna talk about Donald Trump getting banned on Twitter. So without further hesitation, let us begin.
After a close review of recent tweets from Donald Trump account and the context around them, we have permanently suspended the account due to the further risk of further incitement of violence.
Before I read the rationale on why Donald Trump was banned on Twitter, I first want to give you guys the context on why he was banned. Of course, everybody know what happened at the Capitol, where basically Trump supporters went inside the Capitol and started to damage stuff and take pictures and whatnot. And more recently, I saw video evidence of police officers actually allowing Trump supporters to come inside. So it seems as though that the narrative that Trump supporters actually dashed into the Senate is actually not true, because the footage actually shows otherwise. That said, of course, there was some sort of speculation if Donald Trump wanted to incite violence or not. And for this video, I'm gonna get into the details because I feel as though that the context is pretty much everything, and that every single last quotation against Donald Trump should actually be, of course, countered by evidence that Donald Trump has said or done.
Donald Trump's statement that he would not be attending the inauguration is being received by a number of supporters as further confirmation that the election was not legitimate, and is seen as him disavowing his previous claim made via two tweets by his deputy of staff that there would be an orderly transition on January 20th.
I'm sorry, but how is not going to the inauguration evidence of Donald Trump inciting violence? Look guys, I am not a fan of Donald Trump. I said it many times on my channel that I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. But trying to incite, of course, him not going to the inauguration is actually proof of Donald Trump being a sore loser. It's not evidence of him actually encouraging violence. As a matter of fact, I went to the archives to see Donald Trump's tweets in regard to the Capitol, and this is what he had to say in regards to the action at the Senate.
I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful, no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. Please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful.
Judging from that tweet, it seems as though that Donald Trump is not encouraging any type of violence. He's telling his followers, hey, be peaceful, don't destroy stuff, don't riot. And so naturally, of course, I don't understand how is this actually him supporting the idea of violence. Yes, he probably is in fact encouraging people to actually protest for the election because he claims that the election was stolen. At the same time, asking people to protest is not the exact same thing as encouraging people to attack people and, of course, have violence and storm the Senate. That to me is crazy to actually think that way.
The use of the words American Patriots to describe some of his supporters is also being interpreted as support for those committing violent acts at the U.S. Capitol.
How is this evidence of encouraging violence? Saying American Patriots is actually saying violent stuff? That makes no sense whatsoever. Of course there will always be people who actually interpret the worst out of you, right? It happens to everybody who's like a public figure, right? At the same time, just because there are some people who interpret American Patriots as being violent does not mean he actually incurs acts of violence. This idea that saying that kind of phrase is kind of ridiculous to be violent, because to me, it's almost like some sort of mind-reading game where any type of thing that you actually says is worse than off what you're actually saying. It's so crazy.
The mention of his followers having a giant voice longing to the future, and that they would not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any way, shape, or form, is being interpreted as further indication that President Trump does not plan to facilitate an orderly transition, and instead he plans to continue to support, empower, and shield those who believe he won the election.
Yes, all of that is true. But again, how is this encouraging violence? That's my main question. How is all of this encouraging acts of violence?
Plans for future armed protests have already begun proliferating on and off Twitter, including a proposed secondary attack on the U.S. Capitol and state capitol buildings on January the 17th, 2021.
Those examples are actually proof that people are extremists and that those type of extremists should be banned on an individual basis. However, those extremists are not proof of Donald Trump glorifying violence in the slightest. I find it so strange that there are so many things listed that is not evidence of Trump inciting violence. But when it comes down to actual incitement of violence from far left accounts on Twitter, Twitter does not do a fucking thing at all. They don't. Like, I've seen tons and tons of accounts of left-leaning people actually inciting violence, the same with the Democrats too, but Twitter does not ban them in the slightest. So all the stuff that is actually listed is just BS to me. Straight up BS. But it gets worse, guys. It gets worse. Breaking. Parler, which is popular with President Trump supporters, has been removed from the Google Play Store. Now, this is kind of crazy because the argument I hear all the time when it comes down to big tech censorship is the fact that people should probably, open their own separate social media accounts. Now, you see, of course, PayPal actually do not want porn stars to get money. Now, Visa, of course, is also trying to shut down people for, of course, reasons for transactions. And naturally, of course, Google and also Microsoft and Apple have like this sort of monopoly when it comes down to this whole entire big tech stuff, as well as Twitter and Facebook. Now, how in the world is this actually gonna, be competitive? Like, how is it fair for a small company to be this platform? Like, you have no sort of platform whatsoever to actually sell their product, to show their product. So how are they supposed to, make some sort of alternative account? Because it seems as though that the big tech companies actually have a monopoly on everything we do right now. Like, they have a monopoly on their free speech. They have a monopoly on, how you buy stuff. They have a monopoly on how you release stuff. And so naturally, it seems as though that this idea of removing a platform because of Trump supporters sounds to me like some sort of, wrong thing again. And of course, as soon as Donald Trump was suspended on Twitter, there were also a lot of parody accounts of Donald Trump that were also suspended on Twitter, including some black guy. Now, some black guy made some sort of course, parody name for his accounts and had Donald Trump's face, and he got suspended as well because he made fun of Donald Trump, which is really crazy to me. Really, really, really crazy at this point. It's so bizarre that everything is happening right now is being controlled by the big tech companies. Everything you watch is being controlled by them. Everything you buy is being controlled by them. Almost every other aspect that we have in life in the public is being controlled by some sort of big tech company. And so naturally, I think that we need more regulation, like an internet bill of rights, to actually protect free speech on social media platforms. Because honestly, guys, all of this stuff is like a big, humongous nightmare. I believe that, of course, Donald Trump is a big buffoon. Yes, that is true. But god damn it, he needs his speech. And if Twitter is not going to have some sort of, reason to actually ban him, then obviously I'm pretty sure he's going to sue them in court or something. But what do you guys think? Tell me in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys next time.
It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. He's your only black friend, so he's your best black friend. I wouldn't trade him for another black friend, because black friends are rare, as you should be aware. He smiles like Richard Pryor, so just sit and stare. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler.